Oh, Greta, Greta, Greta. What can I say? Greta's the gift that just keeps on giving. Now she's at the World Economic Forum at Davos along with President Trump. But unlike President Trump, who's taking a bunch of victory laps at Davos, unlike Trump, Greta's complaining, which is, of course, nothing new, but this time she's complaining that no one's listening to her, that the world's done nothing about the climate change she's been warning us about ever since she quit school to become a full-time activist, and she's very, very upset about it. So we're going to take a look at what Greta's saying and contrast that with President Trump's very optimistic speech, and we're going to look at an alternative to Greta's that's seeking to solve the world's problems with a Trump-style economic boom. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here. Absolutely wonderful to be with you. As always, a brand new week to celebrate the rise of a new conservative age in the midst of the fall and collapse of globalism. So if you haven't already done so, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We are your daily white pill of encouragement, where we analyze current events in light of super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. So before we get into this whole latest Greta temper tantrum over at Davos, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's collagen, available at healthwithsteve.com. Now, if you don't know, collagen may be the closest thing we'll ever get to a real fountain of youth. Many health experts now agree that consuming collagen is crucial as it gets to renew and revitalize how we look and feel. Taking collagen regularly can revitalize your body. It can make your skin, bones, and even your hair look and feel more healthy and youthful. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the health benefits of collagen and getting your own supply, then visit healthwithsteveturley.com or just click on the link below and check it out. You'll be glad that you did. All right, so let's dive right in here. Greta Thunberg, along with global leaders from all around the world, right? They're all attending the World Economic Forum, a forum that's been going on now every year at the very posh resort town of Davos in the Swiss Alps since 1971. And of course, true to form, the media concocted saint of the environment, Greta Thunberg, is there thinking she's important. And once again, true to form, she's slamming global inaction on climate change in front of the world's, top business leaders. And she basically complained that no one's listening to her. I mean, talk about narcissistic. But she complained, in her words, pretty much nothing has been done. Global emissions of CO2 have not been reduced, and that's what we're trying to achieve, but you're not listening to us, and time's almost up. Our window of opportunity is slipping away, and we can't get it back. How dare you? And thus far, world leaders have, as far as she's concerned, have done nothing in terms of reducing emissions and tackling a warming planet. And she again reiterated that people need to start listening to science, start treating this crisis as the crisis it really is. Now, a number of commentators have noticed the stark contrast between Greta at Davos and President Trump. He's there to tout the massive energy independence and business boom going on right now in the United States. And did you, by the way, see the numbers on unemployment, the average unemployment rate under the Trump administration? We put the chart up on our community page of this channel if you want to check it out. It's really cool. But the chart shows the average unemployment rate under each of the last successive presidencies since Ronald Reagan. And what they found was that the unemployment average for Trump in his first 3 years in office is the lowest unemployment average ever for the United States, 3.9%. Compare that to the 9% under Obama, the 6.2% under Clinton, 3.9%. So Trump's there at Davos trumpeting the American economic boom. He's eased regulations and lowered taxes, while at the same time promising to enact punitive measures on corporations that leave the country. So Forbes published an article a couple of months back detailing how 314,000 more manufacturing jobs were added under Trump than Obama, 170% average advantage. And the manufacturing sector right now, in terms of its unemployment, is currently under 3%, which is the lowest ever recorded. I mean, you have to let that hit you. The U.S. unemployment rate as a whole has held steady over the last year at about 3.5%. -5% as of December of 2019, remaining at the lowest level since 1969. Trump has added nearly 7 million jobs since taking office in January 2017. And this, together with the negotiation of the USMCA, which replaced NAFTA, the confrontation with China and Trump's trade war that's now been resolved with the new trade deal, this manufacturing boom promises to reach even new heights. And as part of all this, Trump delivered on what every single president since Nixon has been promising but never achieved, and that is energy independence. 2018 was a seminal year in that it was the first year in 70 years that the United States exported more oil than it imported. Business Insider had a fascinating article on this where they noted that from Nixon on down, both Republicans and Democrats believed that the only way to achieve energy independence was through conservation and developing alternative forms of energy. So you actually had Barack Obama mocking the idea that we could ever drill our way into independence. Well, Trump came in and said those days are over. He rescinded the impediments of the previous administration. He lifted the ban on federal leasing for coal production, oil production, natural gas, and shale energy, right? Shale's a fine-grained sedimentary rock. He cleared the roadblocks to the Keystone Pipeline and the like, and the result is that we've seen just this torrent of unprecedented energy production. So Trump's coming to Davos touting America's energy independence and economic boom, touting the lowest unemployment numbers in our history. Now, as I was reading this, I couldn't help but notice how utterly deceitful the so-called mainstream media, our Marxist media, is in all this, because I need not tell you, here you have two fundamentally different messages, right? One that's mired in pessimism and despair. How dare you? One that despises any and all examples of national productivity, even though she finds herself living off of such examples. You have a privileged teenager mired in self-importance, lecturing the world how we all need to change and follow her voice. And then on the other side, you have a president of the United States who's touting the best economic numbers our nation has ever seen, the lowest unemployment in manufacturing industry ever recorded, the lowest numbers of minority unemployment ever recorded, a booming stock market whose index is about to break 30,000 with no end in sight. And who did the Marxist media highlight as the example for mankind? I mean, you have a girl who has literally done nothing but leech off the productivity of others. And you have a president that has overseen one of the biggest economic booms in history, and the Marxist media enthrones Greta as the model exemplar of humanity. I mean, it's sad beyond belief. What the media should be doing is what we're going to do, which is to show you how economic prosperity and ecological concern are not opposites, but are fully consistent with one another. And here I could not recommend more the work of the Danish statistician Bjorn Lomborg. He wrote a book called How to Spend $75 Billion to Make the World a Better Place. You may be familiar with it. And what he did is he put together 10 teams of economists. He had them rank order world problems in terms of return on investment. And then he averaged across their investments to come up with a final list. And this is the perfect kind of approach that you would want at a Davos gathering. You take all these economists, 10 different teams of them, you have them rank the world's problems in terms of the best returns on investment, and then you average out their investments to come up with a final list of what you can do to change the world for the better with $75 billion. Sound good, right? So, for example, Lomborg notes that one of the best returns on investment is the fight against malnutrition. If we are to invest $3 billion each year on alleviating malnutrition, what we'll find is that we can fund a number of interventions such as food, treatment for various diseases associated with malnutrition, and effective behavior change programs. And what they found is that based on long-term research, the benefits of such programs stayed with the recipients for life. Their bodies develop faster and better, their cognitive abilities radically improve, and we found that those who've had malnutrition alleviated were 3 times more productive and make more money and contribute to a growing economy. And so, what these economists determined was that for every dollar spent on malnutrition, we can see a return of $59 worth of global good. The same group found that $300 million invested would save 300,000 child deaths from malaria. Another proposal is to spend $2 billion annually in research and development to increase agricultural output. Not only would that reduce hunger by increasing food production, thereby lowering food prices, but Lomborg notes it would also protect the environment, since higher crop productivity would mean less deforestation and forest store carbon. So you'd contribute to stifling any rising climate temperatures. The important point here is that there is no inherent incompatibility between massive economic growth and dynamism on the one hand and saving the planet and the environment on the other, even though I don't like those terms. I don't care for them at all, actually. But Greta's just a brainwashed ideologue who's being propped up by equally brainwashed leftist activists disguised as journalists. So I, for one, am very glad that there are people like Bjorn Lomborg who show us in a very well thought through detail precisely how we can answer the radicals, all the while making the world a far richer and far better place. Now, if you're interested in following up on Bjorn's work, I've included a link to one of his lectures in the pinned comment section below. I think it'll be a great 50 minutes or so for you to spend today, and you will not think about the world's problems in the same way again. So enjoy, and I'll see you next time. God bless.